Now it's time for Perform Like a Pro.
Here in the Pacific Northwest, maintaining your home is a huge deal. And with this rain that we get all year long, guess what? It's got to go someplace, and it needs to go into a storm drain system below ground. But you got to maintain it. Mine has not been, so I brought in Brent from Pipeline Plumbing. Man, thanks for coming over to my place today.
Absolutely, glad to be here.
So my system has, as far as I know, has never been maintained.
That's what it looks like from what we can see. Yeah.
It is pretty ugly. So what do we do to clean these things out? Because I know mine's jammed full of pine cones and needles and everything else.
Well, believe it or not, it's actually not too difficult to remove a lot of this stuff with the equipment we have nowadays. Basically what we do is we do the hydrojetting process, which uses high pressure water and special rotating nozzles to flush out the drain and clear any debris that's down in there, and basically can make it look like brand new again on the inside.
All right, let's take a look what we got to do here, because I think this is going to be ugly.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
All right, let's dive in.
All right, so let's go ahead and get this this hydrojetting hose into the line and get this line all cleaned up, and we'll power up the jetter and get it all flushed out and see how far we can get it in there, and then try and feed it in as far as we can first.
Looks like we got corrugated hose on this one, which is always a challenge, right?
It looks like the corrugated line is in a little bit of a rough shape, so we will definitely see how far this goes and where the water comes out, because right now we don't know exactly where this is going to go. So
there we go.
stuck.
Stuck?
Yeah. Yeah, so right now our hose is currently stuck in the line on some old corrugated pipe. We don't really know what's going on underground right now exactly, but right now we're running the camera through the line, which has a locator, and then we use our locator to detect where that is underground and tell us how deep it is and where the location of the camera head is, so we can find the pipe. Looks to be right under all this, of course.
Okay. All right, sometimes when something gets stuck, you gotta go get it. Time to get the hot towel out and remove some asphalt. Let's do this. Turn some water on. Not a lot of asphalt there.
Yeah. All right, now we get to digging.
A little digging. Sometimes when you're trying to maintain your home, these can be a little bit bigger project than planned, but guess what? That's why this hasn't been done for probably 20 years. So now, time to cut some more asphalt. We're gonna get to the bottom of this.
There it is.
Woohoo, got it. Score. There it is.
What did it get stuck on though?
Oh, it's just the end of the line.
Rock.
Right?
Yeah. So that's our hose sticking out of the line there. Well, we found the end, so we're gonna go ahead and get this uncovered and pull it out. But this looks to be where the end of this pipe.
Yep, now we know. Yeah, why is it so important to go around and get all these drains? I mean, obviously there's multiple points.
Absolutely. So while these tend to be mostly connected together, the most effective way without finding the outlet is to basically have these overflow with all the debris. As the jetter hose goes in, the water shoots backwards, and we're basically pulling that debris back up out of the pipe instead of pushing it further down the line, where it could cause a problem further down the line.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we actually look for little subtle changes like color change in the water. You know, if we start getting really just mud, we know there's probably a break in the line, so it's a lot of things we look out for to.
Got it. So yeah, if it just keeps getting mud, more mud, then obviously you got a broken pipe.
If you start getting like that tan colored mud, you know you're probably just pouring more into the pipe from the break somewhere.
Versus this more kind of almost composty sediment.
Exactly.
And we also clearly know these two lines are connected, at least so far.
Right.
Up to here.
Yep. We can see water overflowing at the next pipe, so that'll be our next one we hit.
All right, let's take a look and see where this is going. This is a great camera system, man.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so basically we're having a hard time figuring out where all this water's going. You know, we've been pumping high volume amounts of water in there, and we haven't seen it come out anywhere or been able to identify an outlet. So we're going to run the camera, which has a locator feature on it, so we can try to figure out where this pipe is going.
All right. I love how technology just keeps getting better and better with this stuff.
It's all merging.
Yep.
So it can still hold some water.
All right, looks like we got the big gun out here, huh?
Yeah, so we're having a hard time, looks like getting to the end of the pipe, going through a lot of turns. So we're gonna see if we can run a little bit thicker, stiffer hose and see if we can get a little more pushing power to get a little bit further down the line.
Well, that makes sense. Trying to get that little loose one is...
Exactly. Sometimes they get a little too flimsy making it around all those turns. So we're gonna try more pulling power and bigger, stiffer hose. See if we can get a little bit further.
Alrighty, now we're going to try to figure out where this goes and open it up a little bit, right?
Exactly. It still doesn't seem to be completely open. Hydrojetting definitely does have its limitations as far as, you know, how many directional fittings and directional changes are in the line. We're going to see if we can get a little bit further and try and figure out where this pipe ends. That's the plan. So we're going to basically run a mechanical snake through the line, which we're able to get through turns a little bit easier and go out a little bit further distance. So we're going to give this a shot and see if we can get it fully opened up and see what we feel.
You're just pulling out everything in the arsenal today.
Oh, is this what it takes?
Yep. Like any project on an old house, it threw everything at us today, even when you bring in the pros. Brent, thanks for coming over today, man.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. Really enjoyed doing this kind of work. We threw the whole arsenal at it today. We threw the jetter, camera, big cable machine, and we were able to get the line clear and flowing and at least identify where these drains were ending.
And now I know where I got to do. Now I got some digging to do and some projects to do down the road, which will make this a better flowing project. Where can people find you, man, if they want to have this done? Because this is a necessity to your house.
Absolutely. So we cover the entire Portland metro area and surrounding areas. We're located in Tigard, Oregon. You can find us at pipelineplumbing.net or Instagram at pipeline.plumbing.drains.
Perhaps the most important thing to remember with your home projects is that they rarely go exactly as planned. This was a great example. It's so important to keep the maintenance on your home so you don't find yourself in the same boat. Now, let's see how we fix it. All right, Pipeline Plumbing did a great job of getting this whole system cleaned out, but now we uncovered a big problem. See, where the gutters go down into the storm drain system, that enters and goes into the drywall system. Well, the drywall system, years later after the house was built, got paved over and this carport got put in. That means it has no place for the moisture to go except down, but when it overflows, it's got no place for the water to go either, thus backing up my system. So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually dig down here as phase 2 and give it a kind of an emergency escape valve for that water to come out and go away from the house. So I'm gonna dig down, connect into it, and give us a nice big place for that water to go into this rock. We'll be good to go on phase 1. So now I gotta do some digging. Let's see how well this goes. My dirt around here is more rock than dirt. Now let's mark out where this is gonna go. The reason I'm gonna send this so it goes this way, this sweep, is so I can actually use this as another clean out. So if I have to ever clean this way out, I can go back all the way out to all the gutters and it'll give me another access point for this. So now I'm gonna come in here and mark this out. This is actually 2 fittings. This is gonna be glued on this side. And this side is a Fernco style fitting, which there's some clamps and stuff that'll go on later. I've taken those off just so I can measure this off. It's just one less thing to work with. So let me mark this out. I love these little Sharpies because they work in water. So for me, they're an added benefit doing these outside plumbing projects. So let's mark this out. A little room. Let's get cutting. All right, so we've got this general ABS fitting here, which is meant a sewer type fitting. And this has that sweep that goes this way. So what I'm gonna do is, this is where the drain's gonna go into. I'm gonna glue this fitting here onto what's heading towards the drywall. The drywall, that's actually going towards the house. So I'm gonna use that connection with this slip clamp fitting here because I can't really glue this in without having to do a whole bunch more tearing out, which I don't wanna do with that much digging. So first, let's get this fit in here, and then I'll get this fitting on here. So this is always just trying to shoehorn this in here. It's always a fight no matter how you do it. I'm gonna actually take a little more off of this with the take a little more off to get myself a little more room here. All right, this is our glued fitting. So this right here has to be clean, so I want to get all the dirt out of that. And then we're going to use ABS cement. I have one try to do this, so if not, it's going to be trying to glue in place in the wrong spot. So I'm going to get that on the inside of this. Get that glued up. I still don't want this to leak because any leaks are introducing areas where a tree root could get in, so I'm just trying to get that sealed up as best I can. Sometimes you just got to take multiple tries at it to get it in there. There we go. That is in there. I'm going to use my drill and get this clamp tightened up right here. There we go. All right, our next spot here is this upright. I'm going to put this pop-up emitter here on the top. So what happens is when there's enough pressure that gets built up, that will pop open, let it out, and then when there's no pressure, drops right back in. So now I need to figure out how this is going to fit in here and at the right height. I know that's way too tall, so let's figure out where this is going to go. I think I want that pretty low, down about in here. Let's try for that right there. Again. All right, so we got that glued in. That's ready to go. So I'm gonna move some of this dirt down this way. So that way we've got a great place for this water to drain out when this overflows. Now the other thing we have to do before I put this rock over here in is gonna be to sit there and fix the other side, because that floor drain that's in front of my garage doors, we gotta fix that too with a similar problem. So we're gonna extend that out over to the side. So let me move some dirt and then we'll go fix the other side. This is where we got the hydrojet stuck underneath my carport. So now we're gonna fix this so we don't have this problem again. I'm gonna extend this line out back over to where the other one, so we have an overflow again, because that way it can drain correctly. I love these fittings, by the way. These are a universal fitting that fit both a 3-inch and a 4-inch pipe, depending on you're going either inside or outside. So we're gonna hook in line to this. All right, now we're gonna direct this pipe back around to the other side where the other drain was. That way it all ends up in one spot. Now I've already kind of dug this out to make sure this drained correctly earlier. So let's play around with this and get it right where I want it to go. All right, let's get this laid in here. Find itself a new home. Just gonna kind of lock this in a couple spots. That right there, this is all gonna get buried. So that goes down, that's gonna snap in right here. Hear it click. This cap goes on top. And now we're ready to test for water. I'm not gonna fill all this in and have to dig it back up again because I have a problem. Now's the time to test it when it's the easy way to do it. Let's do it. Well, one of the reasons why I'm using this material right here is it is 1.5 inches basically recycled crushed rock and stone. So what is this? This is brick. This is marble from a marble fabricator, because you can see how it's cut. And I got a piece of granite. What this does, it gives us the most ability to store water. If I use little tiny pieces of like gravel, for instance, it doesn't drain as well and hold water. This is going to be the biggest storage capacity in this little space that I can have. Now that is how just a little bit of deferred maintenance turned into a huge project. But I have water flowing, which means nothing's gonna overflow from either my gutters or my drain out front. And that means no more problems and a much cleaner driveway. And that's a win for everybody.